Today's June 14th, 2026, and welcome to the 492nd episode of the So Video Games podcast. Here on the show, I talk about any game at all, including new stuff, old stuff, and anything in between. My name is Brad Galloway, and I'm the one-man host of the show. I'm also the editor of GameCritics.com, a reviews website that offers full accessibility information on every review that we publish. Hello! Thank you for joining me on this lovely Sunday. Hope it is cooler where you are than it is here. I am recording in Seattle in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, and it is hot. And I get that it's not as hot as other places. I get that. We're not in a desert. I know there's plenty of places that are just sun-scorched beyond imagination. But here in the Northwest, we are not used to the heat, and global warming is kind of kicking our asses. It's like, I don't know, pretty close to like 90 today Fahrenheit, which is really hot. And we're just not built for it. A lot of these houses don't have air conditioning or central air, and the humidity up here is pretty killer. I don't know what that temperature is in Celsius, British measurements. It's probably like, it's either 2 or it's like 175, and I'm not sure which way it goes. I am not familiar with the Celsius. So whatever is hot in your temperature language, that it's real hot. And I'm sweating. I'm feverish. It's a problem. Very sweaty. Okay, so here we are. It's a Sunday. We got a bunch of stuff to do. No guest stars today. It's just me, myself, and I. But I will say, heads up, that next week we are going to have probably the most crowded episode we've ever done. Is that true? Yes. I think the former record is 3 people at the same time. I believe Carlos and former co-host Corey and I have been on the show, and I know that Corey and I and my wife have been on the show. But next week is going to be a new record. It's going to be me, Carlos, and then we are going to be doing a special crossover with the Two Guys, Three Consoles podcast. We're going to be having longtime friend and best buddy Jeremy Fowler, J Monster himself from the UK, along with excellent man Matt Leach, good friend and great podcasters. They do a very fun show. I've guested on their show a couple times. I'm pretty sure Carlos has been on their show, so we are having them on our show. I've never recorded with that many people before, and I don't know how this is going to go. I imagine it's going to be 4 people talking over themselves at once and just shouting to be heard. But they're British, though, so there's manners. Definitely more mannered than us coarse Americans. So maybe, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see what's going to happen. I don't think we have any specific topics. If there's anything you would like us to talk about, anything you want to hear the men from overseas talk about, anything you want to hear me and Carlos talk about, hit us up in the Discord or email or social media, whatever. Let us know. We're taking requests. It's probably going to be a fun show. They're lovely guys. I feel like we are lovely guys too, and it's just going to be 4 lovely guys having a lovely time being guys. So we'll do that next week. Very excited for that. And I think with all that preamble, let's just get to it. More than the usual amount of housekeeping stuff today. I'm just going to go through this bit by bit. Let's see. First up, they announced DLC for The Alters. It's called The Alters Last Variable. Very surprised to see this. I did not think any DLC was coming for this game. And if you will recall, this was my game of the year. Was it last year or was it the year before? Fuck, I can't remember. Whenever it came out, whatever year it came out, The Alters was my overall #1 game of the year. Despite the AI kerfuffle that happened, it seemed like the devs kind of cleaned that up and made amends, and so I let it slide this time. Will not let it slide again if this happens again, but don't need to go into that right now. I did really enjoy The Alters overall, though. In case you don't recall, this is the I don't know, it's kind of a mix of things. It's kind of like a narrative game where you play a man who clones himself. A sci-fi story, clones himself, and each clone is not just a clone, but they are clones drawn from alternate paths in his life. So every time he made a choice, his life branched off, and then you can choose one of those other choices to be the clone. So for example, in one life path, he stays married and wants to become, a doctor or something. In the other life path, he might decide to become divorced, and then he becomes a bouncer. And so you can clone, whichever life path you didn't choose. You can, be the doctor and the bouncer both, get them on your team. They each have different perspectives. You can see how the choices in his life affected him. A very great story, wonderful sci-fi story, wonderful gameplay. A lot of like really tense time management, resource management, some cool sci-fi bits into it. I love the altars. I thought it was great. So they're doing a DLC for the altars, last variable. I'm not sure how much to say about this because the DLC is built on something that happens at the very end game. And I guess it's been long enough that we can talk about it without spoilers. Although if you have not played the altars, I definitely recommend it. But I guess if you don't want to hear it, just jump ahead like a minute or something and you will not be spoiled. So there you go. Jump ahead. Okay, if you're still here, basically at the end of the altars, one of the clones decides to stay behind on the planet that they are stranded on. He just wants to keep doing research and doesn't want to go back to Earth. And that was a really cool thread, a really cool storyline when you explore that at the end of the game. I thought it was really well done. And then you just leave him behind and all the rest of the altars go back home. So in this DLC, you stay with I think it's the scientist guy who stays. And then he splits himself off into geologist, biologist, chemist, and physicist. They say that in the PR here. This is not a spoiler, unless you don't want to know anything about it. So that's pretty cool. Looking forward to that. I will definitely give that a shot, although I'm always a little bit torn when I play DLC so long after the main event because I just forget what's going on. And most of the time, developers scale DLC to be more difficult because they're assuming you've already played through the main game. And I guess they assume that you're going to just roll right into the DLC, which is just not true, man. I played this like a year ago, maybe more than a year ago. I remember how it made me feel, but I don't remember how to play it. So I'm hoping that they onboard you gently and give you some reminders or maybe just give you some difficulty sliders because as much as I love the altars, I just don't remember what I'm doing. And I do remember at the time it being a pretty difficult experience. I had to like start a new game a couple times because I fucked things up, and I was trying to like manage a couple different saves to see which mistake was going to happen and what I could do to fix it. And pretty high stakes gameplay. So I hope they don't just lean into the difficulty. That would be pretty disappointing, but I am looking forward to more of the altars. So heads up on that. Also, there is another DLC announcement, a couple DLC announcements. The next one is for Discounty, which I loved. I had so much fun with Discounty when I played it on the Switch. I thought it was just the best. Very, very fun, where you help your aunt run a grocery store. You get to set up the grocery store how you want it to be set up, and then you check groceries during the day. And at nighttime, you solve like little side quests for people in your town. You get to know people in the town. Seems like something spooky was going on, so you're trying to figure out what's happening there while you're also keeping the store running. Just a fucking great game. Every bit about it was just really, really fun. I just had a blast. Did not expect to see any that's like the theme of the day, I guess. It's just I didn't expect the DLC. And it feel like, again, Discounty came out a while ago. Like, I finished it a while ago, at least 1 or 2 years ago. I feel like it's got to be that long at least. So they are releasing this new DLC. It's called People or Profit. The People or Profit DLC, or I guess an expansion is what they're calling it. It takes place after the original ending of Discounty. This is a brand new chapter where you finally become fully in charge of your store. Your aunt who owns the store, I guess, leaves or whatever, gives it to you or something. And you are fully responsible for the store and also the town that the store is set in. You have a bunch of branching storyline things that affect the ending. You get to choose which people you want to support and which ones you don't. And they're going to add 3 brand new endings to the game. So very interesting. But again, as much as I love Discounty, I do not want to start over from the beginning. So I will play the DLC and pick it up at the end. But again, I don't remember how to fucking play the game. So I hope they onboard you gently. I hope they don't make it too hard. I want to just continue. That would be fine. I'm not going to replay that whole game. So hopefully they will consider that and take that into account. So, but heads up. And if you've never played Discounty, that's a fucking great ass game. Perfect for the Switch. Perfect for the Switch too. I'm sure it runs on the Steam Deck. Great ass. I mean, you can play it on console, whatever, but like, I think it's just a great mobile game, handheld game. Perfect stuff. One more DLC announcement. Warhammer 40k, I love me some Warhammer 40k. Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, which is a phenomenal game. Absolutely phenomenal game. Highest possible recommendation. Love Rogue Trader. It's so fucking good. They are coming out with a 3rd DLC, and I haven't even... Okay, full disclosure. I love Rogue Trader. I put like 50 or 60 hours into it. I don't think I was even near the end, yo. Like there was like a lot of game left to go, and I had to put it on pause to take care of some other review responsibilities. But I am planning to come back to it, and I am planning to play that fucker from the start again. It was so good. It's one of the rare exceptions where I'm like, this game was so fucking good, I actually don't mind just deleting my save, because it's been, I don't even, God knows how long since I played it. I don't remember what I was doing, too many details. But I will absolutely restart that fucking game, start it from scratch, go back through, recruit the characters again, see the story bits again, do this new DLC. I will do that with a smile on my fucking face, because Rogue Trader is the absolute shit. It's so good. So they have 3 DLCs. I have not finished the game, have not played DLC 1, have not played DLC 2, and now there's fucking DLC 3. I'm excited, dude, because I'm going to play all of these things. All of these things. It's so good. Latest DLC is called The Infinite Museon. It's coming to PC first. It's coming to PlayStation, Xbox very, very soon. I played it on PlayStation. Ran fine. The Infinite Museon is a string of expeditions that leads the rogue trader, that's you, the main character, to uncover hidden truths, unhover? That would be on the ground. I am not hovering, therefore I'm on the ground. I'm unhovering about the history of the Von Valancius dynasty. That I believe that's your knightship or kingship or rogue tradership or whatever. So finding out secrets about the main character whose empire you took over in the first 5 minutes of Rogue Trader. That's going to be interesting. The writing in that game is fucking great. The gameplay in that game is fucking great. Love that fucking game. I don't know how many ways I can say it. Yo, it's a fucking great ass game. Gonna go back to that. Gonna play all the DLC. Amazing. One more piece of news. I see a lot of people talking about this, and I feel like the story is developing like every 5 minutes. But in an article written by Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg, he says that Xbox plans significant layoffs as new CEO Asha Sharma is planning a major overhaul. And it seems like every 5 minutes there's some new twist to this. People at first said it was just a layoff and a consolidation. Then some people were saying they were going to spin it off into being a separate subsidiary. Some people were saying they were going to merge it with other companies. Some people were saying they were going to sell it off. I mean, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. I think the only person that knows is Asha Sharma, and I don't think she's talking right now. I will say I am going to give them the benefit of the doubt, because I feel like up until this point, Xbox has in general been very poorly managed. I think there's been a lot of tension between the people who love the gaming side and the people who love the PC business tech AI bullshit side. And so I think there's just been endless tension and friction, and it has shown. I don't think that Xbox has really been very strong in general. I think there's just a lot of confusion at the top. I think there's been a lot of, buying studios, but then doing nothing with them, or like having, not a lot of exclusive games, or not a lot of like good games in general. And then it's a service, but then it's not. And then Xbox Live is this thing, and then it's not. And then it's like Game Pass is this, and then it's not. So I feel like in general, they just haven't had a coherent vision that a good, strong leader can give. And it's funny because in the last couple of years, I have gained an all new appreciation of just leadership in general on multiple levels. I think politically, I have a new appreciation for strong leadership. I think in a business sense, I have a new appreciation for strong leadership just because of things that I've observed in my own life and also in the political spectrum here in America. We all think that leaders are great, but like, I think they're so important sometimes. And I think this is one perfect example where I think Xbox has really floundered. They have not had strong leadership, or they have had it in very brief snatches. And so now that Asha Sharma is here, it seems to me like she's making good moves. So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. I hope that she has a coherent vision, that she's going to make some smart choices, make Xbox lean and mean again. Do I think they're going to sell off Xbox? No, I don't think so. It seems to me more likely that they are going to separate it so that it is a subsidiary and not just like another corporate arm of Xbox. That'll give it some ability to be run more efficiently and more in a focused way. And, they'll still send profits up the chain to headquarters. And I'm sure that Xbox headquarters will still have some say. But I think that might be a pretty smart move, honestly. I don't see them doing more than that. But who knows? I could be completely wrong. They could sell the whole thing off. Who knows? Maybe they're going to just lean into publishing. Who knows? But what I do want to see is them stopping their waste. Like, hiring a bunch of people, firing a bunch of people, buying a bunch of studios, not leveraging their abilities, assigning them to some fucking bullshit AI duties and some other like computer stuff, and not really letting the artists do what they do best. not letting the writers do what they do best, not letting the game designers do what they do best. There's just been a lot of bass-ackward stuff happening. And so I hope that they just use what they've got, slim it down, polish it up, make it tight, focus on games again. And so far, like I said, I don't know her personally, but it seems like Asha Sharma's been making some pretty good moves. So I am inclined to see where this goes. And I'm not Nelly negative. I'm not being gloom and doom. I'm not being super down. I think that Xbox is due for a strong leader to right the ship, and hopefully that's going to be her, and we'll see what happens. So there's that. Also, this has nothing to do with anything. This is just like a random thing that I wanted to bitch about, but we're not really an Apple household in my house. We have an Apple TV, but that's really about it. I don't really use an Apple computer. We used to have iPhones. We're not getting iPhones anymore. I guess we're Android now. Do not think I'll be going back to iPhones since they have the new Israeli chips in them. Fuck that. But we do have the Apple TV, and I think in general, the Apple TV is a pretty good device. I know they really want to get you back in the Apple ecosystem, and they have some annoying stuff that's in there. But in general, I think it really works well. But they do some random shit sometimes that just doesn't make any fucking sense. I mean, in that respect, fuck Apple. Because we're going through, the wife is going through, I'm sitting with the wife, we're watching TV, we're looking at trailers. We often just like watch trailers and bookmark them for future, right? We don't want to watch a movie now, but we're going to watch one tomorrow or the next day. Let's just, we got 5, 10, 15 minutes. Let's watch a couple trailers. We'll bookmark them, come back. I'm sure you do the same thing. So we're sitting there bookmarking trailers, and then we just notice, like, we just don't know where they're going. We're like, where's the watch list? Like, where's our list? If you're on YouTube, you can make a list, or if you're on, like almost any streaming service, Paramount or Disney Plus, or, whatever. You put something on a list, and then you can click your list, and you can see all the shows that you have selected to say, I want to watch these later. These appeal to me, and just have them collected there. So you don't have to keep looking through the catalog. So we're just looking through, and the wife's like, damn, I don't know where the fuck is the watch list. I'm like, shit, I don't know either. And so we're like clicking around, can't find it. And I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to just duck it because we don't Google anything anymore because fuck Google. So we're going to go to DuckDuckGo and search it up. And we're like, where is the watch list on Apple TV? DuckGo. There isn't one. There isn't one. You can add stuff to your watch. Like, the function still exists. You can add something to your watch list. There is no motherfucking watch list at all. Can you? Ugh, fucking stupidest thing. Anything you've put on your watch list, Apple like scrambles it up and they decide what they want to show you. So when you go to the Apple TV, at the top of it, it'll say, continue watching, which doesn't make sense because sometimes you haven't seen some of those shows yet. So there's no continuing. You would have to start. So you just go to the continue watching. That's the only place you can find anything that you have put in your watch list. Maybe because there's a shitload of stuff we put on the watch list, movies, TV shows, whatever, that don't show up there. And there's no way to find them, but they still let you favorite them. They still let you save them. Where the fuck does it go? Why don't we get to see that? Stupid. Fucking stupid, bro. Anybody that tells me tech bros know what's up, you're either a liar or an idiot because they absolutely do not know what's up. Like, oh man, 5 minutes with the Apple TV, I could fix that thing. Anyway, okay, that is it for... What the hell was I doing? Housekeeping, that's what I call it. We're done with housekeeping. Moving on to questions, and we do have a couple questions. I did put the feelers out this week because I felt like the show was a little light, and the kind people in the Discord shot me some questions, which I'll be getting to in a second. If you would like to shoot me some questions as well, you can do that, and the easiest way is by joining the Discord. I'll have information on that later on, but it is free of charge. And let me shuffle my virtual papers here, and let's get to the questions. Okay, first up, we have a question from Tainted Brian's Brain, which is what I'm going to be calling him because in some places he's called Tainted Brian, in some places he's called Tainted Brain, and that is very funny and also confusing to me, so we're going to wrap it up. Brian says, what mechanics do you dislike in games? I am not a fan of inventory management. I actively dislike it. In Arc Raiders, I go out, pick up everything I can and head back, and then I have to figure out what's crap, what has to be broken down, what I need, what I might need. Stop getting in the way of playing the actual game. Also, being over encumbered can go to hell. People slowing down, can't pick up anything else because your imaginary backpack has an imaginary capacity limit. This happened in Fallout 3. I immediately checked out and uninstalled it. I want to collect everything, sell the crap fast, and make funds and play more of the game. Make this loop easy and swift, not something that takes me out, or worse yet, don't make it something I dread. Also, something I really dislike is the lack of a map, or maybe the lack of a good map and the absence of a mini-map. See Claire Obscure for both. A truly excellent game that still frustrated me at times. Brian, I feel you, my brother. I feel you, and okay, so let me address these one by one. So you do not like inventory management. I do not like bad inventory management. What you're describing is bad inventory management. I do like good inventory management, like something along the lines of like Resident Evil, modern Resident Evil, where it's almost like playing Tetris a little bit. And sometimes games can make like entire experiences out of the inventory management. Like Backpack Hero, for example, is a fantastic game that like does that, makes it a mechanic. There's many other games where you put something in your backpack matters. And in that respect, I think that's a cool thing. And I do enjoy doing that. I do enjoy, I don't know, something very primal about moving weird shapes and squares around on a grid and just kind of making things fit. I'm really good at that in real life. I'm excellent at like cleaning out my fridge. I'm really good at organizing, my space and my shelves. So that's a skill that I have, and I really do like inventory management when it's done well. But I hate bad inventory management, like you described. That's just bad shit. That sucks. Also, yeah, I think encumbrance is stupid, unless it's like a really core. If it's like a hardcore survival game, like let's, I don't know, Death Stranding or something, which is not a hardcore survival game, but encumbrance makes sense in Death Stranding because carrying is like the main thing you do. And so you can't just carry everything and like balancing your packages. Okay, it makes sense there, but I agree with you. Something like in Fallout, get the fuck out of here, dude. You've got like 17 different outfits and guns and rocket launchers and a baby nuke and Deathclaw claws and all this other stuff. And just like, picking up a couple more bottle caps puts you over the limit. Like, get the fuck out of here. It's just, I agree. Like, if it's realistic and makes sense, okay. But if it's just there, just as like a general RPG thing, yeah, get it the fuck out of here. Just don't bother. Lack of a map, y'all know. Nothing sets me off worse than lack of a map, especially like lack of a mini map or anything. I just want a map. I've said this many times. I don't think very many developers are good enough at level design to get away without a map. I think it takes a very special kind of artisan. We're talking about like the Lies of P people can get away with it. FromSoft can get away with it. Who else can get away with it? Maybe Capcom sometimes, not always. It's like a handful of people where I think they are good enough at level design that you actually don't need a map. Team Ninja, maybe. Yeah, maybe Team Ninja, perhaps. But it's like a handful. It's like four developers out of the entire industry. So I think that most times people really, really, really do need a map. And if you don't think you need a map, you're just fucking fooling yourself. So I agree with you all those things. Other stuff that I can add to this list. Y'all know what I'm about to say. What's my number one thing? Bad fucking tutorials. Bad tutorial or no tutorial is a huge pet peeve of mine. There are so many different games, so many different ways that people can play, so many different ways to think, so many perspectives, so many personal experiences. You cannot do a one size fits all. And I really don't think that it's successful to like have people quote unquote explore or discover your mechanics. I just fuck everything about that. Especially if you're a grown up, you're busy, you got kids, you got a job, you got limited free time. Just fucking tell me how to play your game. Like, just don't mess around. And if you are going to mess around, I'm going to probably bounce. Don't be too precious with that. So that sucks. Corpse runs. I fucking hate corpse runs. I just think those things need to go away. The time for that is past. I get that it was a thing for a hot minute or more like a hot decade. Ugh. And I get it. And, kudos to FromSoft for making it a thing. Okay. Cool. But we're done with that now. We're done. I just don't have the time for that or the patience for that. I just don't think it really works that well anymore. It's just a time tax and a frustration tax that I just don't want to pay. So corpse runs can just go away for a while or just basically forever. I also really dislike lack of checkpoints or lack of easy saving. When there's checkpoints, I think that most games have checkpoints too far apart. I would like more checkpoints spaced closer together just for like convenience sake, life's sake. I'm busy. I've got a kid. I've got a wife. I've got 4 dogs. I've got 13 chickens. I'm doing stuff all the time. And sometimes I just need to fucking save my game and just bounce. And I don't make that hard. Do not make that hard. If you're going to just do away with checkpoints, but make manual save, let me save anytime. Don't make me like trudge all the way back to headquarters or go to the special icon that I need to say. Like, just make it easy. Like, we are people. We are human beings. We have life outside of a game. Don't make it hard for me. Easy saving has got to be a thing. And along with that, pausing. No more fucking cannot pause. Like, fuck off. I mean, if you're like in an online multiplayer. You're not pausing Fortnite. Okay, I get that. That's not what I'm talking about. But if you're talking about any game with a single player component, any game that has an online component but you can play it offline, anything where you do not need like the active engagement of other players, let me motherfucking pause. Just pause. That's so important. I gotta pee. I pee a couple times a day. Maybe more than I should. Who knows? Am I a frequent peer? Maybe. I don't know. But when I want to take a piss, I want to take a piss. So do not make me like run all the way back to base before I can pause something. Or like, just make it easy. Just pause anytime. It's such a basic request. I just really need that. The last thing I'll say here is lack of accessibility when it comes to visuals. I mean, you guys know I'm a proponent of accessibility in all shapes and forms. But recently I've really been enjoying a lot of granularity when it comes to the visual aspect of something. So for example, a couple of games I played recently let me change the field of view, like how much field of view you can have, which is not all that common on console, and I've really appreciated it. There's been a couple of games where I feel like the field of view is too narrow. It makes me sick, makes me nauseous when the camera's like way too close to your character. So widening the field of view really helps calm that, and I think that's great. It also helps just for general situational awareness. I also really like taking out head bob. I fucking hate head bob in first person games. So I don't play a lot of them, but I have played a couple like in the last month, and like head bob can just die in fire. So turning off head bob is great, and turning off camera shake is like my number one thing. Turning off camera shake. I do not like camera shake or any of the weird effects they put on. I just turn all that stuff off. So if your game doesn't have those, that's fucking personally irritating to me. Just like, let me turn them off. If you like them, that's great. I'm not trying to yuck your yum. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. But for me, just give me the option. Just let me make it the way that I want it to be, and you play it the way you want it to play, and we're all happy. There's no disrespect. There's no oppression. There's nothing bad going on here. Let's just all have our preferences, okay? Okay. Next question comes from Zebra. What are your thoughts about the games and developers that were missing and the stuff we did not see at Summer Game Fest? For example, nothing from Software, Naughty Dog, nothing about Grand Theft Auto, and also why was there no Zelda gameplay? I guess I don't have any thoughts. I'm sorry, Zebra. I didn't keep up with a lot of the Summer Game Fest stuff. I wasn't really going into it with like a list of things that I definitely wanted to see. And I figure people will show what they want to show when it's ready to be shown. And I guess that's about it. I don't think I even saw the Zelda thing that people were talking about. I know people were talking about a remake. I forget which remake it was. I'm sorry. I don't have a good answer for this. I wanted you to know that I saw your question and I'm reading it here. If anybody out there has anything they want to add to this, go for it. I just don't have any thoughts. I just figure maybe it's not ready. They didn't want it to be rushed. They'll show it when they show it. I'm sorry, man. I don't have anything deeper than that. I don't know. That's it. Sorry, Zebra. Moving on. Leechman, good old Leechman says, I'm a massive fan of Witcher 3. Have you read any of the books and or watched the Netflix series? Also a massive fan of The Witcher 3. You're huge fan of The Witcher 3. It's probably my favorite game of all time. Probably. Probably. Have I read any of the books? No. No, I have not. I used to read a lot. I used to be a mega voracious reader back in the day. I had stacks and stacks of books. I had a personal library that was ridiculous. I would go through, maybe 2-3 books a week, read like crazy, and I just don't have that time anymore. And if I do have the time, I'm to that phase of life where like you start reading and then you get sleepy. So I don't read a lot of books these days, and because of that, I just have not read anything. I think the last thing I read was, it was something He-Man related a while ago because I got a vintage copy of something, one of the older storybooks or something. It was like 20 pages. It was like nothing. Like a golden book. If you know what golden book, I don't know if you have golden books in the UK, but those are like kids books for like 6-year-olds here in America. And it was like something like that is the last book that I read. I just don't have the time or the energy to read books the way that I used to. But I love reading in general. I love writing in general. I am a fan of the written word. So I'm not anti-reading. I'm just kind of in a different phase of life right now. I have not read the books. Have I watched the Netflix series? Yes. The first 2 seasons. I remember really liking the first season, if memory serves. I remember not being too crazy about the second season, and then I think we just fell off of it after that. I don't have any specifics, but I seem to recall thinking that it was trying to copy Game of Thrones too much. Like there was too much political intrigue and they weren't really following like the beats of the game. I don't know if they were trying to follow the game or trying to follow the books. I don't have any point of reference with the books. I don't know about that. But like as we were watching it, I'm like, this just seems like it wants to be Game of Thrones, and I don't want that. I want The Witcher And so we bounced pretty quickly. It just didn't stick with us. So I think season 1 was the only one that we really liked, if memory serves, but nothing else. But Matt, I would love to get your thoughts on the books and the Netflix series, the entire series. Shoot me a message, man. Hit me up on the Discord, or I guess we can talk about it next week when you're on the show. So we'll see you there. Last question of the day comes from superfan Ron. What's up, Ron? He says, here's a question. What's your most memorable moment gaming in the last decade? Well, gosh, that's a hard one to answer, but let's do our best here. So I had to kind of like look at some of the lists of games that I was looking at. I had a couple off the top of my head, but I wanted to give you a couple more. I know you just asked for one. I'm going to give you plenty. If I was going to say, I mean, I don't know. What is the most memorable? It's hard to pick anything, but I'll say the ending of Cairn, just from January, super amazing and incredible. That one's probably going to stay with me basically forever. And looking at the timeline, I was like, okay, 10 years. I don't know how strict you're going to be on this. But one, I loved Metal Gear Survive. I've talked about it on the show before, but I don't hear anybody really talking about it in general. Metal Gear Survive is a fucking amazing game. That game does not get the props it deserves. I thought it was brilliant. If you're there for Kojima's weird psychosexual political bullshit or whatever, it's not going to make you happy. But if you like the mechanics of how a Metal Gear game plays and adding some survival and base building into that, it's fucking great. I love Metal Gear Survive. Excellent game. And there's a lot of emergent stuff that happens in that game. And at one point, I was surviving, going through the wasteland, trying to get some food to survive. And I hit a cluster of zombies. And I was like, oh my God, this is like way too many zombies. I can't kill all these dudes. And so I had to like escape, but I didn't want to like ditch my stuff. So I was running away from them. It's like foggy. It's like a wasteland. It's really tough. Excuse me. And then I eventually got like into this little camp area, and there was a shack, and I was a little bit ahead of them. And so I ran into this area, jumped up on top of the shack, got up on the roof, and then laid flat on the roof. You can lay like on your back, prone, or supine is the way it goes. I'm laying flat on the roof. And I'm like, oh my God, I hope they don't fucking find me up here. And the zombies like come through, they swarm the camp, and they don't see me because I'm laying flat and I'm not moving. And so they like in the camp, they're going all around, they're going ape shit, they can't find me. And then they just like bounce and fuck off. And then I get off the roof and I'm like, oh my God, super unscripted, natural, procedural generation kind of a thing where I just figured out I wanted to try this. It worked. The zombies had some AI that worked. And it just happened that way. And like that is going to stay with me forever because I just tried it and it worked. And it was so like such an amazing narrow escape. And I was like sweating the entire time. That was fucking incredible. If you never played Metal Gear Survive, that game is the shit. It is so good. And I think that people just do not give it props. Other things that are really notable. There's a couple moments that are super notable from Days Gone for me. I'm not going to spoil them, but I think that main character Deke and his best friend in the game, Boozer, are like some of the best written characters I think I've ever played in any game ever. They're just so human and real and natural, and they just seem like absolutely real people to me. And there's a few moments where they're just having some quiet discussions, or they're, like expressing something to each other. I mean, two guys talking to each other in a kind of like semi-emotional way is not really something we see a lot of in anywhere. And to get some moments like that in Days Gone, I think were pretty great. So I love some of those moments. Not going to spoil them, but pretty high pressure moments. Those were really good. I will also say, I don't know if it counts, but Black Book. I really just love Black Book a lot. This may be outside of your decade, demarcation there, but the ending of Black Book. Black Book is a fucking incredible game that, again, no one played. And when you get to the end of it, not going to spoil, but like the writers and the creators of that game went like all out, just all out. They went places I didn't think they were going to go. They did things I didn't think they were going to do. And then as soon as I thought they were out of tricks, they kept going. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this. What the hell? What is happening? They just knocked it out of the park. And then as that ball was coming back down, they just knocked it back out of the park again. It was just incredible. So the ending of Black Book is something that will always stick with me. Just me beside myself, just thinking, holy shit, I can't believe they're doing this. They're actually doing it. This is fucking incredible. Last thing I'll say, this one is definitely breaking your decade demarcation, but I don't care. I'll say it anyway. I'm a huge fan of the original Helldivers. I think the top-down version, to me anyway, was like the better one. Not perfect, but I just had so many great memories of playing that with my wife. She was my best partner. Ride or die, let's go. And then we played it with my son as well. But when we got to the upper levels of the Helldiver stuff, that stuff gets like so fucking hard, dude. Like it's so hard. We were trying to finish like the highest level of difficulty before the DLC, which added like 3 more levels of difficulty, which is insane. But at the time, it was the highest level of difficulty. We were trying to do the hardest thing, beat whatever. Like I was trying to go for like all the achievements, all of the tasks, all of the unlocks. We were trying to like max it out 100% because we just love that game. And so we're on the highest possible level. And we get to the boss arena, and we're just we're just like fighting, struggling, and like this giant monster there. It's me and the wife, and we're just doing it. It's just not happening. We need 4 people, right? We need 4 people. 2 people isn't getting it done, and very few people were playing at that level at that time. And so we were just like, oh my god, like what are we gonna do? We open it up to randos because it's kind of like a mixed bag is what you're gonna get. But at that level, we were like, I mean, people who take the time and effort to get to that level are probably not stupid, so they probably put enough time in the game, they know what they're doing. So we open it up, we get a couple people right off the bat that jump in with our game, and it's too hard for them. They just bounce right off the bat. They get killed right off the bat, or they don't know what they're doing, so they're just joining our game and not really being smart about it. So we're like, okay, this sucks. We finally get this other guy. I will never forget, his name was Chicken Wang. That was his PSN name, Chicken Wang. If you're out there, you're my bro forever. So he shows up, and it's me, my wife, and Chicken Wang. And my wife and I are in the same room, and Chicken Wang is somewhere else. And so he starts playing, and then we're like, okay, he knows what he's doing. We know what we're doing. We're starting to get this done. But then, like, we're still having a lot of difficulty. Like, we're having a little bit of difficulty coordinating. You got to be, like, this tight, focused unit. You got to really know what you're doing. Everybody covering each other's back. Just everything. And so at one point, we hear, like, the microphone turn on. We have our mics off, but then Chicken Wang pipes in, and he's like, he's like, hello, guys. He's like, we got to coordinate. We can't do this without talking to each other. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I turn on my mic, and I hate talking to people, but that was like a moment where like this guy came in from wherever, I think he was in Asia somewhere. And he, was super respectful and nice and cool. And then we turned on our mics and we talked, and between the 3 of us, like we knocked it out that day. Like we finished it. And if it wasn't for Chicken Wang, we wouldn't have got it done. So it was amazing. We got it done with 3 people and not 4. And it was just this nice moment of like people connecting over, across an ocean. I'm sure English wasn't his first language. We didn't speak his language, but we both like this game, and so we're connecting and supporting each other and getting this done. And just a brilliant fucking moment, and just like a really cool thing that video games can do that I don't know how you would replicate that kind of connection and that kind of moment anywhere else. So that one's going to stick with me basically forever. And shout out to Chicken Wang. Probably not listening to the show, but if you know him, if you're him, whatever, you're amazing, man. You will always live on in my memory. Okay, that is it for questions. Hope you all are satisfied with those answers. If not, ask again, and I'll answer again. We'll see how that goes. Moving on to stuff we published this week at GameCritics.com. I am the editor, and I do want to shine a little spotlight on stuff you may have missed if you haven't clicked over there lately. If you go there right now, you can see a review of Recreation by CJ Salcedo, which is a kind of like a Burnout Paradise sort of a thing, which has a lot of good going for it. But at the time CJ reviewed it, it was kind of glitchy and had some issues. We have a review of Coffee Talk Tokyo from Justin Grandfield. That looks like another winner. Coffee Talk is a super solid series if you like visual novels. Seems like another good one in a string of good ones. That's great. We have a review of the Terminator Dark Fate Uprising DLC, the final DLC from Ali Arcani. He says that one is a good addition for people who are a fan of the game, although it does feel a little bit limited at times. We have a transcript review from me of Let Them Come Onslaught. I posted that so we can get the score posted on Metacritic. If you've listened to the show, you already know what I have to say about that, but Let Them Come Onslaught, fantastic roguelike. Had a blast with that game. Really, really fun. Final review of the week was News Tower Second Opinion, coming from Adam Sharman. He thinks it's great. It's a little bit repetitive at times, but he said overall it's a great sim where you manage a newspaper. He had very good things to say about it. So check out those reviews. There's also literally thousands and thousands and thousands of other reviews in the archive going back, 20, how many years? 26 years? 26 years worth of video game archives. So if there's a game you want to read up about, chances are we have covered it. So check that out. You can also find other archived episodes of the show, so forth and so on. News, opinions, I don't know, whatever, thought pieces, stuff. YouTube is still a thing. youtube.com/@gamecritics.com. Sorry, I can't talk. youtube.com/@gamecritics.com videos. Let me enunciate for y'all. New stuff over there. Eugene's got some Summer Game Fest videos posted. He's got some quick looks at games. I think he's going to be posting a whole slew of things, so go over there and check that out. And before we get to the main part of the show, just a quick heads up that running this podcast and GameCritics.com are paid for out of my own pocket. You love the show, you love the website, you love both. Chip in and help me keep everything running. If everybody listening or reading would chip in just $1 a month, just $1, y'all, just one. Every expense will be covered, and if you can afford it, I would appreciate it. If you're feeling supportive, go over to patreon.com/the So Videogames podcast. All right, folks, let's get to it. We're going to start the main portion of the show, as we always do, with Circle Backs, where I circle back to things I've covered in depth on previous episodes. We're not going to get into the nitty-gritty again right now. This is just a quick update to let you know if my thoughts have changed on something for better or for worse. All right, first circle back is for Black Jacket. Talked about this a couple episodes ago. This is a roguelike where you are a person who is sent to hell, and you are trying to play blackjack to get out of hell, win your soul back, and just escape. Very well done. Great presentation, great mechanics. Still playing it. Progress has been slow because I've been dipping in and out, just doing 1 or 2 runs a day, so I'm not really like grinding really hard on it. But it's just great. I came back to it after putting it down for a while, came back, got right back into it, really enjoyed the mechanics, really the gameplay, graphics, presentation. Everything about it is really top shelf and fancy, so if you have not checked out Black Jacket, it still holds up. I'm going to do my best to roll credit. I don't think I've finished a complete run yet. I think I've gotten close, but not all the way. So I will continue to do that at the pace of 1 or 2 runs a day, and we'll see where that gets me. But Black Jacket is definitely thumbs up. Keep that on your radar if you're looking for another, quasi not a gambling game. I mean, what do you even call them? Like a card game. I kind of put this in the same basket as stuff like, not exactly like Balatro, but kind of like Balatro. But ever since Balatro, like a lot of people have been using like regular card games and board games and then adding to them, like adding new mechanics and things like that. So I don't know what genre we want to call that. If anybody has a good idea for what that genre is, where you play like poker, but you're in hell, or blackjack, but you're in hell, or something like that. Whatever that genre would be, that's what this is, and I think it's pretty good. So there's that. Black Jacket, thumbs up. Also, coming back to Sumerian 6, which I talked about a long time ago. I think it was like January or February. This is the top-down, quasi-real-time strategy, turn-based quasi strategy. I don't even know what you call this. Active time strategy? Some kind of strategy. But whatever it is, it's fucking delicious. This is a game that is basically a carbon copy of the kind of games that Mimimi Studios put out before they voluntarily closed their own doors because they were exhausted from creating games. Vacation, y'all. Vacation. You just take a vacation. You don't close the studio. You just take a vacation. But Mimimi is gone. And every game they made was basically a masterpiece. So that really kind of hurt that they left. But these people here doing Sumerian 6 have carried on that torch. And I don't mean this as an insult in any way, but they basically carbon copied everything that Mimimi was doing and just continued going. Which is fine, because I guess if you're going to steal from the best, and Mimimi was the best. And they are gone. And no one is making games like this anymore except for these folks. So I'm glad that they are here. This is not a slam. There's no shade. I am genuinely grateful and appreciative that they made this game, Sumerian 6, and I was enjoying it. I would even say I was enjoying the fuck out of it. But what happened was, if you recall from many, many episodes ago, I hit a bug. There was a bug. At first, it was kind of generally glitchy. I was working with the developers to kind of patch that out. I mean, not that I was doing the patching, but I was like letting them know in kind of like a real-time status, like where the bugs were, and just, updating them about what was going on, what was working, what was not working, and that was going fine. But then one of the characters has a very powerful ability where they can attach a bomb to an enemy, and you can either detonate it right away or you can detonate it later. It's a great ability, super powerful, very, very useful, and it stopped working. I couldn't get it to work at all. There was no gameplay reason. It was just a glitch, a full-on glitch. And so I had to stop playing the game because I wanted to use that bomb several times, and I just couldn't. And so it felt like I was playing on a difficulty level that was, that was just like arbitrary. Like, oh, you can't use this good power anymore just because. And so I was like, okay, I don't want to play this game until it's fixed and patched. So I put it down for a long time. I got an email from PR maybe like last month, and they're like, yeah, they think they got it fixed, but you're going to have to replay the level that you're in, just restart the whole level. That should reboot the thing. and it should be better when you go back. So I'm like, okay. I didn't have time for it back then. I just jumped back into it this morning for the first time since I stopped. So it's been a couple months. Forgot everything about it. Forgot how to play. But I didn't want to redo all those levels that I did. So I came back to it. And so far, it seems like they've fixed it on PS5. That's where the problem was, PS5. It was fine on PC, but PS5, something went wrong. And I think that it's fixed. I have used the bombs a couple times so far, and it seems to be successful. I've been trying to use it like more aggressively just to make sure that it really, really works, and it seems to really work. I think the only caveat is that it does not attach to certain enemies. There's like these armored guys, and these spirit guys. You cannot attach the bomb to either one of those guys, but you can attach it to everybody else, which is fine. I don't mind that there's a limit attached to it. So I think it's okay. I think it's good. And if it's good, if it's not glitched anymore, I'm going to keep going and just keep playing them. But really enjoying it. If you like any of those me games, Shadow Tactics, I don't know, what was the other one? Desperados 3, Shadow Gambit. Those are all just absolute bangers, like 5-star, gold star bangers. This follows in that tradition, in its footsteps, and in some ways improves on the me formula, which is great, hard to do. So I'm really enjoying Sumerian 6, and I think it's okay to come back to now. So if you were holding off, waiting for that game to get fixed, I think it's ready to go. Check it out. I'm going to keep playing it. I really do enjoy it. I hope it's fixed all the way, because I would love to just keep going and see where this goes. I love that kind of stuff. So, okay, there we go. Moving on to new games. A bunch of random stuff today. I guess I should lead off with the fact that I just got a brand new Switch 2. This is news. I've only had it for about a week or so. I wasn't planning to buy one, but I do a lot of freelance stuff. I do a lot of gig work, and I was volunteering for a place. I did not think they were going to pay me. Didn't think they had the money. So I'm like, yeah, it's all right. No big deal. It was a good cause. And so I'm like, I'll just volunteer for this, and you can, pay me if you ever get the money. If not, no big deal. It's totally fine. I'm happy to volunteer because I like being a good citizen of the world. And like I said, it was for something that was good. Disability related stuff. And so I did the gig and forgot about it and just moved on. And then all of a sudden a check showed up out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, didn't think this money was going to show up. wasn't counting on this money. I thought it's like bonus money. Bonus money hit me in the face. And I'm like, yes, please. So since it was bonus money, I'm like, okay, well, I don't feel super guilty about spending it on something that's just fun rather than bills or whatever, or food. Like a loser buying food. So I'm like, okay, Switch 2. And I know that the price is going to go up in a couple months. And I'm like, which is ridiculous. So I'm like, okay, it's only going to get more expensive. I'm sure that I'm going to want one of these. I'm a hardcore Switch fan. I still have my original Switch. Original Switch is dope. It's good stuff. And I wasn't really that eager to jump. But since I had the money, that was free money, and it's only going to get more expensive, I figured, why not? So go ahead and I went and picked one up, brought it home, and yeah, I've got a Switch too. So that's a thing that's going on right now. So far, I don't have a lot of impressions about it. I think it surprised me because it does feel, significantly bigger. Even though it's not really that much bigger, like measurement wise, in my hands, it definitely feels a lot bigger. It feels a lot bigger to carry it around. The screen feels a lot bigger, but it feels fine. The new dock is fine. I don't like where the wire goes in the dock. I think they could have changed like where the wire comes out of the dock. That's kind of weird to me, but it's still fine. Yeah, I don't know. The switch over process was fine. I had to dig up my Nintendo Club password or whatever the fuck it was, which I haven't used in like forever, but I had to log in to my account, log into the store, log into my European account, log into the European store. I had to click a couple buttons to make sure they didn't ask me to log in every single time that it came, because no one plays my Switch except for me. So I'm not really concerned about security there. And like once I did all that rigmarole, did the transfer where you put your old Switch like physically right next to your new Switch and it transfers all the stuff over. It brought over all my save games, all my save data, everything that I had. And the interface is basically identical to the Switch. So it's literally just like the Switch, but just like a little bit bigger, which is fine. I mean, the Switch is rad. I love the Switch. I have no complaints about it at all. So the store goes a lot quicker. And I will say one of the biggest things that always fucking bugged me was when you go to your library, if you want to look at stuff to re-download or just look at what you have on your library, if you deleted one of the games from your library, it would kick you back to the top of the library. And I'm like, why? I mean, not trying to brag or anything, but I have like almost 1,000 games on my Switch library. And so if I took like 3 minutes to scroll down to like the R's or whatever, and I deleted an R game, it would kick me back to A. And I'm like, okay, this is mental. This sucks. But they fixed it. Whenever you delete something, your cursor stays right where it is, which is great. Love that. Store is way faster, which is great. I love that. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good. It's great. It's fine. What have I played? Well, there was no real killer software that was motivating me. I wasn't really on fire to play anything. I'll probably play Donkey Kong at some point. Bonanza, I don't know. Whenever I feel like it, I guess. Was going to play Pocopia maybe, but the wife's playing that right now. I don't know what there just wasn't really any software there that was like really like, setting my world on fire, which is fine. I have a million things to play on the regular Switch. I'm playing something now that's under embargo that I can't talk about, which is pretty good. Talk about that next week, I think. So yeah, just got the Switch, set it up, logged in, did the thing, got it working, and then honestly, I think what I've been playing most on it is fucking Picross 3. So I know that you all are very eager and have bated breath to see what I say about Picross 3. It's great. It's more Picross. Other than that, I guess it's just the Switch 2. Like it's all good, but it just feels like a slow evolution, slight bump up. It's not mind-blowing. It's not jaw-dropping, but it's just really good and positive, and I guess that's all I got to say about it. So there you go. Switch 2 in the house. Moving on. A lot of demos dropped during Summer Game Fest time now that SGF is over, but there's still a ton of demos. I'm not playing any of the PC demos, but there's been a lot of stuff on console, more than I thought. Spent some time with a game called Gladio Mori, Gladiomori. This is somebody reviving that concept of like having a super controllable avatar and doing melee combat, which I think is a cool idea. I don't want to do that in VR. So they give you like this kind of skeleton looking dude, and each button is like, one button's like a high attack, low attack, left attack, right attack, special attack, parry, block, something like that. And so you're being very specific about your movements. Got into it, did the tutorial, seemed kind of wonky and slow, but like interesting. I do like this kind of concept. I haven't really seen anybody nail it, and so I'm always open to people giving this another shot. Unfortunately, there was no campaign content. It says there's a campaign, and I do hope that there is single player content, because I don't want this to be just multiplayer slop or friend slop or whatever. I want there to be an actual campaign, but there was nothing available in the demo. It was just like you got through the tutorial, and then they were like, go online, local or online. And I'm like, nah, not going to do that. Not going to do that. So I'll come back to it if there's a campaign. But if you like the idea of having like that hyper controllable melee attack kind of concept that people have tried in the past, check it out. Demo's on PS5. I'm sure it's on Steam as well. And if you don't mind friend slop, then I guess give that a shot. I'll come back when the campaign is there. Another demo I tried was the Eternal Life of Goldman. I've heard about this one for a while. It's been on my radar for a while. I don't know who's behind it, but I was happy to see the demo show up. And this was the kind of game where like the demo was so good, I wanted to stop playing it immediately because I wanted to save that experience for like the full game. I don't know what the story is. It seems like there's some kind of a narrative, like Princess Bride kind of thing going on, where maybe somebody's reading somebody a story and you're playing through the story that they're reading, is kind of what I took away from it. They don't really kick it off story-wise with anything. They just kind of throw you into the gameplay, which is fine. But you play you look like you're an old Jewish gentleman. You've got like a yarmulke, I believe, and he's got like a beard and a cape, or not a cape, a cane is what I meant to say. A cane, beard and a cape. I mean, I guess, but no. And so you're going through these fantastical lands. You can swap parts out on your cane. They have this really neat interface where you can quickly and routinely swap parts. There's a couple different handles to the cane, a couple different centerpieces, like the long cane part. There's a couple end pieces that go to it. One of the cane pieces will let you jump normal height. One lets you jump super high. One is a normal cane handle. The other one is like a hook handle, so you can grab onto things, so forth and so on. So the cane is like customizable. That's really like where the hook of gameplay lives. But the other hook to it is the animation was fucking killer. It was just like jaw-dropping animation. It looked just like so smooth and so well done. Every little bit, everything on the screen was coming to life. Multiple levels of hand-drawn animation. Something along the lines of like Cuphead, but like, like even more so. Just like the movements and the idle animations and the background animations, the whole thing was just like completely buttery smooth. It was like super, super, super impressive. So I'm very excited for this one. It looks amazing. I like the gameplay so far, kind of like 2D platforming gameplay, which is enjoyable to me with the interchangeable cane pieces. And then the fucking just like absolutely batshit crazy level of animation. Just so sumptuous and juicy and delicate and silky. Just so good. So I will definitely 100% be checking into Eternal Life of Goldman when that drops. The full version, when the full version comes out. After that, I dipped into the Onimusha Way of the Sword demo, which is on PS5 right now. I don't know if it's anywhere else, but I know it's on PS5 for sure. It's fine. I am an Onimusha fan from back in the day. I've played all the Onimusha games, which was basically, if you're not familiar, Resident Evil, except Oni instead of zombies and samurai instead of cops. But that was kind of like, it was like the trilogy of like Capcom exploring that type of game. We had Resident Evil for spooky zombies and cops. We had Onimusha for Oni and samurai. And we had Dino Crisis for dinosaurs and park rangers, I guess. Also, why the fuck have we not gotten a Dino Crisis? Like, that series is like begging to be remade. You could do so many cool things with it these days. There's got to be a Dino Crisis coming back up. Capcom, WTF. We've gotten Resident Evil. That's all well and good. And now we have Onimusha. It's basically just like you're a samurai. You get dropped into the demo. You obviously are starting kind of in media res. You don't know the story and all that stuff. You've got a special gauntlet. It has like an gem eye magic ball sort of thing on it that absorbs energy from enemies, and you have a sword, and you just do stuff. I feel like Onimusha might have waited a little bit too long to come back, because I feel like Team Ninja has kind of stolen its thunder with with Neo a little bit, or with Wolong. I think both of those games are kind of stealing its thunder. But yeah, it just kind of feels like those. Like you're a samurai, you walk around, Oni jump out at you in the woods and stuff. It's like traditional Japanese kind of like theming. You got like your torii gates and the forests and so forth and so on. Traditional houses with the paper doors and all that. And you attack them with your sword, and you have like a lot of counters. There was like a dodge counter, there was like a weapon counter, there was like a stamina exhaust counter. A lot of countering going on there. It felt like okay. I didn't quite master it, but it wasn't impossible either. And you just walk around from place to place, killing some Oni, and then you, I don't know, whatever. Just do it. I mean, it felt like Johnny Come Lately, basically. Like I said, Wolong and I think Neo both have kind of done this already and done it really, really well. So I'm not sure what else is in store. We'll see. I know that historically Onimusha has always let you transform into a demon form yourself when you collect enough magic points or whatever. So that's always kind of a play. Kill some monsters and then build up the energy, turn into a superpowered demon yourself, fight a boss, whatever. I mean, it seemed pretty standard, to be perfectly honest with you. Graphics were fine. Camera was way too close. I really wanted the camera to back up a little bit. I felt like I was like, man, almost perched on my character's shoulder. It was too close. So I want the camera to go back a little bit. I mean, would I play this? Yeah, sure, I guess. But I am significantly less excited for it because I feel like I've had this experience several times already in recent years. And so we'll see what else Capcom can bring to the table on this one. I mean, again, Capcom is probably my favorite developer / publisher of all time. If I had to choose one, I would probably choose Capcom. So I like their games. I like their philosophy, their action. I just hope that they have a unique spin on this, because otherwise I feel like we're just kind of maybe retreading stuff that, to be fair, they did it first back in the day, but it's been a long time for this series to lay fallow, and I feel like they waited too long. Other people came in and started doing the same thing, and they do it just fine. So we'll see where Capcom is going to take this. I would be totally fine with them bringing it back if they had some surprises, new twists. But if it's just the straightforward Onimusha action, not sure that's going to get it done these days. So we'll see. Talked about Coffee Talk Tokyo when I mentioned reviews that went up at Game Critics today. Justin Granfield reviewed that. You can check that out. But I also played it myself. The publisher was kind enough to send me a code for that, so that's great. Thank you very much. Playing it on the Switch 2. It looks amazing on the Switch 2. And Coffee Talk Tokyo is good stuff. It's you play a barista in Tokyo running a coffee shop. People come into your coffee shop with various problems. You hear them out. You talk to them. And then everybody asks for a drink, and you have to figure out what kind of drink they want. They'll be like, I want something kind of sweet and spicy. And then that's kind of like all they tell you. And so you've got to like figure out of your ingredients that you have, what would be sweet and spicy. Usually you're putting 3 ingredients into a cup, and then they kind of come out together. So for example, if you add coffee 3 times coffee, that makes like an espresso shot. If you do coffee, milk, that makes a latte. If you do coffee, milk, honey, that makes like a sweet bee, which is kind of like a coffee dessert drink or something like, like mix and match like the different elements. And if you pick the right drink, then that character's story will continue in the best possible way. If you get the wrong drink, they'll still drink it, but like maybe you'll miss out on some of the story, or you will not get the best ending with that character. And I think with this particular game, I get kind of annoyed because I feel like people are super vague, and they don't give you the recipes right off the bat, which is dumb because if you're a person who owns a coffee shop, I'm guessing you already know how to make a cup of coffee and you know how to make several other drinks as well. Starting off this game with like nothing in your recipe book is just dumb. It's always been dumb. It's always been like that in all the coffee talks. I think that's stupid. I think you should just have a full recipe book, because how else are you owning a coffee shop? It's not your first day in the coffee shop. You're like a professional barista, professional drink maker, mixologist, whatever. You should have a pretty full repertoire by this point. So that part is kind of annoying, where you have to figure out the recipes just kind of from scratch and just kind of stumble your way through it. Other than that, it's great. I mean, I think the pixel art is really beautiful. Writing is interesting. It's kind of an established formula at this point. So if you've played any of the other Coffee Talk games, you basically know how this goes, and I think it goes really well. If you're in the mood for a really nice, cozy, lovely visual novel experience, I think this one is good. And I think it's good to play like 1 chapter a night. I think there's like 15 or 20 chapters, and I think just doing like 1 or 2 chapters a night is good. Like just having that little incremental dip in, dip out will serve you really well. You'll finish it in like a week or 2 weeks and then have had a good experience by the end of it. So thumbs up to Coffee Talk Tokyo. I think that's really good. Great series. Probably my favorite visual novel series of this type ever since it hit big with the original Coffee Talk. Many other games have tried to copy this formula of doing like mixology plus talking. I've played almost all of them that have come to console anyway, and I don't think any of them do it as well as Coffee Talk does. So Coffee Talk Tokyo, definitely a thumbs up there. Final game of the show, Star Trek Online. Star Trek Online. You may be wondering, what the hell? What the hell, dude? Yeah, I don't know. What the hell? If you listen to this show, you know I've been on kind of a Star Trek kick lately, trying to get through every single bit of the TV and movies, watching those with the wife. And so I was just like in the mood to play some more Star Trek. I like Star Trek a lot. Recently played the Voyager game, which was amazing. Loved that Voyager game. And so I'm like, I really would like to play more Star Trek. And what's out there? Not a lot. But Star Trek Online is free on PlayStation 5. So I downloaded that and jumped into it. Originally launched in 2010. This game is 16 years old. And boy, does it show. Boy, does it show. They've been adding to it. It's still active. I mean, people are still playing it. But man, downloaded it, jumped into it. So it's kind of like an MMO, I guess, ish, like a console sort of MMO. It's janky, bro. Like it looks, it's really ugly. It's third person. You walk around, you pick your character from the start. Character creator is like, okay. It's just kind of weird. It does not look great, but it put together like an alien science officer, and then you get to choose, who you want to be. You can have the original Kirk era stuff. You can have Next Generation era stuff. You can do Discovery era stuff. You can do Klingon stuff. You can do Romulan stuff. And then you can do, I feel like there was one more thing you could do. So you can pick any of those things. I picked Discovery era because I just finished watching that show and I was curious to see what they did there. So they set you in the Discovery period of time. And one of the coolest things about it though is like after you start, you got this like really super low poly, ugly ass, janky person walking around. And then you start going through the tutorial, and the tutorial is you are led through the tutorial by the character of Sylvia Tilly from Discovery, who's a fucking amazing character. My wife and I love Tilly. She's like one of our favorites. So she's the person who leads you through the tutorial, and it's actually the actor who plays her, Mary Wiseman. It's the real actor. So it was like I heard her voice. I'm like, oh shit, that sounds like actual Tilly. It is Tilly. So it was great to get more Tilly content. That was like really, really just tickled me pink to see that she was actually there doing the voiceover and doing the tutorial. That was like the best possible thing. So you do the tutorial, and it's just like, oh man, it's so old and so broken looking. You know, you got this like really stiff ass phaser combat. You're walking through empty hallways. I just like, oh man, it's so like, if it wasn't Star Trek, I would have bounced like immediately. Okay, like that's how to frame this, right? I'm really into Star Trek. I really want to play something Star Trek. This game is there. It's still active. You can still play it for free. It's cool to get something like this. But if it wasn't Star Trek, I would not spend 5 minutes playing this, because it is just so old and so out of date, man. It is so out of date, and they need to like really revamp the graphics. And I don't know if it's just like 2 people in a server keeping this thing alive or what, but man, they really need to like revamp some of this stuff. This graphically anyway. So you walk around. It's the kind of thing where like they're like, yeah, go talk to so-and-so for a quest. You go over there and talk to them, and they tell you some stuff, and then you like go talk over here for another quest, and you go talk to them. And you just like, I think in my first quest I killed like 27 Klingons or something, just running through these empty hallways in one of the ships, shooting them, where you just like stand still and just like shoot with your phaser rifle. And it's just like, it's so broken. It's so broken and janky and low rent, and just, oh man, it's not good. But the Star Trek aspect is keeping me in. I don't know how much time I'm going to put into it, but I was just kind of desperate for something. So we'll get a little further. I'm hoping that there's going to be some ship combat perhaps, or maybe I'll get to lead an away team or something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're like a Star Trek junkie and you really need a hit like I did, I mean, check it out and see what you think. I hesitate to recommend it, and just realize it's like 16 years old. So it looks like they haven't really updated. They've updated content, but not like mechanics or graphics or anything. So it feels like I am playing a relic, which is really a strange thing to do, but I'll give it some more time. I love Star Trek enough that I really want to see what's going on. Maybe there's more Tilly voiceovers, which I would like to get. That would be fantastic. And we'll see what happens. Maybe I can get her to be on my away team or something. I can team up with her. That would be great. Dream come true. And we'll see where it goes. So I just dipped into that for a minute and thought it was worth mentioning. If you've played Star Trek Online, let me know. Like, is it worth getting into? Does it get better as you go? Can you squad up with friends? Like, what is the deal? It just seems very weird and janky and ancient, and I don't quite fully understand what I'm going to do, but it's Star Trek, so I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. So there you go. Okay. Let's see. Game portion of the show is officially done, but every week I do watch a few things. We're going to talk about that right now. TV and movie roundup. Let's see. Speaking of Star Trek, finished Star Trek Discovery this week. 5 seasons of Discovery featuring Sonequa Martin Green, I think is her name, if I got that correct. Is that right? I think that's right. She's a great actress. She played Michael Burnham, main character. Season 5 was great. They dipped into a plot line that was from Next Generation to continue that plot line in season 5. Very surprising, very cool. Love the way they handled it. And I thought the ending was really good, except for one thing, which I fucking hated. And I can't talk about it here because I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But if you have watched Discovery all the way through and you want to talk to me about spoilers, hit me up in the Discord or shoot me an email, because I thought the ending was basically good, basically great, except for one thing. That just was like the absolute fucking pits. Not really to spoil anything, but like what happened to the actual ship Discovery at the end of the show was trash, man. That was trash. I was not okay with that. Otherwise, great show. Really liked it. First season was some of the worst Star Trek ever, but by the time they got to season 5, great stuff. Really loved it. I'm a fan. I'm all in. Good stuff. Still watching Widow's Bay, which is excellent. The final episode will roll this Thursday, and my wife and I have enough episodes. We're going to watch like one a day by the time we get there. We'll watch the last one, so we won't have to wait for anything. Widow's Bay is just fantastic. Sharp writing, spooky stuff, great mythology, fantastic cast. It's on point. It's just, everything about it is perfect. It's like a perfect show. It's so good. Really good. Some of the best stuff that Apple has put up in quite some time. Widow's Bay is chef's kiss. Amazing. Great stuff. Still watching Eureka in the mornings. We watch that before we get to work. My wife and I do. We're in season 4. Almost done with that because there's 5 seasons. It's about a town of super geniuses who have misadventures, kind of like a dramedy, I guess, or just kind of a sci-fi wonky show. Pretty good, but I will say that the writers in that show have literally no fucking clue how to write relationships whatsoever. Every relationship in the show is fucking just catastrophically awful. They don't know how to do a romance. They don't know how to do flirting. They don't know how to do boyfriend, girlfriend. They don't know how to do anything when it comes to relationships. These people who write this show must have catastrophic love lives in real life, because you write what you know, and if that's true, the writing of the relationships in the show it's like the worst. It's the worst part of the show. I hate all the relationships in the show. The boyfriends treat the girlfriends like trash. The main guy starts a relationship, but then he kind of doesn't start it, and then he starts another one and kind of doesn't start it. People disappear without wrapping things up. The main guy started a new relationship with a new love interest, and between season 3 and season 4, the writers ended it and didn't show any of it on camera. And he comes back and he's like, yeah, I broke up. And we're like, what? When did you break up with that chick? You just hooked up with her at the end of season 3, and by season 4, he's already done with it. And I mean, just the mishandling of everything is just really poor. I can't stand the relationships in Eureka. But other than that, great show. Fun sci-fi plot lines, a lot of laughs. It's cute. It's cozy. Just don't invest too much in the relationships. They are fucking miserable. In other news, you may recall that I am kind of on a quest to watch all of the cartoons that I watched as a kid. Back then, there was no streaming, no online. Online wasn't even a thing. Online wasn't real. Didn't exist. And so if you missed a show, you missed it. And if there just wasn't really a way to watch all those episodes if you didn't see them all. So I'm going back to watch a lot of those cartoons now that we have streaming and stuff like that. The most recent one I've been watching is Cops. Sometimes known as Cops and Crooks, sometimes known as Cyber Cops. It's terrible. It's not very good, but I'm almost at the end of it, 65 episodes. Watching it all, and then I'm going to do a write-up as I've done with other shows. I did a write-up for G.I. Joe, did a write-up for Silverhawks, did a write-up for something else, I believe. So I'm kind of like going through these and doing little essays at the end of them. Almost done. And more than anything, this show is just like missed opportunities. I really have to question the writing. I don't know if these people were just like writing at breakneck pace. I know that the animation studio was pretty famous for doing cheap work back in the day, so maybe they didn't invest very much in the writers. So 65 episodes of subpar stuff. I'll be glad when it's over, because I don't think it's very good, but also I'm glad that I watched it so that I can really say that I did catch up with it and I have a very informed opinion about what makes it good and what makes it not. So look forward to that write-up if you remember Cops, or if you're curious about another cartoon from the 80s. Final shout out to Deli Boys. Deli Boys came back for a season 2. Love the show. I love the show so much. It's about a group of, I believe they're from Pakistan. On the show, I believe they're Pakistanis who come to America, and their dad becomes like a big time drug dealer, and he dies, and his 2 sons have to take over the business. And neither one of them are drug dealers to begin with. They're just like pampered rich kids, because his dad had all the money and he was doing all the dirty business. But he dies, they take over, and they have to like acclimate to doing the drug dealing. And they're just like not cut out for it at first. They don't know anything about anything. And they're just very like, oh my God, what is going on? Dad was a crook. We didn't realize. And now we have to be crooks. And what does this mean? And it's fucking hilarious. It's really funny. Just great stuff. I think the Deli Boys show is awesome. Season 2 has Fred Armisen, which is doing a great job. And they just kind of continue the legacy that they're doing, building their drug empire on the East Coast. It's great stuff. Very fucking funny. I love it a lot. So check out Deli Boys if you haven't seen it already. Good stuff. And folks, that's going to be a show. Yes, that's it. Before the closing music, please leave reviews. Share the show on social media. Most important of all, please recommend the show to your friends. Nothing beats word of mouth. And also, thanks for just listening. Thanks for being around. Thanks for joining me every week. It's so great to get notes from people who listen, or I get comments and questions and stuff, and just reaching out and connecting with folks through the podcast has been great. So I really appreciate you tuning in week after week and just listening in. So thank you. Thank you very much. And if you want to send me a note, I would love to hear from you. You can do that by emailing me directly at sovietgamespodcast@gmail.com. You can hit me up on social media. You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky. It's my name, BradGallaway, all A's, no O's. Also in the Discord, the Soviet Games Discord, which is free of charge. Just drop me a line and I will get you on board to continue the conversation. And finally, if you liked this episode and you want to hear more, you can support this show at sistersitegamecritics.com. by going over to patreon.com/the So Videogames podcast. Every single dollar helps, and €1 helps that much more. All right, folks, that's going to do it for episode 492. Thank you again for joining me here in the So Videogames podcast, and I'll see you next week.